Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. Welcome back to Flexible Dieting Macros 101. I am Lindsay Orton, and today I'm going to be talking about refeeds and what the difference between a refeed and a cheat meal is, what the difference is, when you should actually take your refeed, and how you are going to do that. So far we have learned a lot, and I hope you're following along. And so when it comes to refeeds, you've probably heard people use the term cheat meals in the past, right? Maybe you've had a cheat meal before. Maybe you've had lots of cheat meals before. But basically, cheat meals are a day where, maybe you break your diet and you might just kind of indulge, and sometimes you indulge a lot, but sometimes if you indulge, sorry, this piece is like in my way. Sometimes when you indulge too much, you can most definitely like take away all the progress that you made over the course of the week. And so what we like to do, instead of honoring cheat meal days in the macro or flexible dieting world, is we like to honor refeed days. So refeed days are one day where you get to indulge in extra calories. Most oftentimes it comes from extra carbohydrates, but it's a day that allows you to, kind of break your diet for the day. But as opposed to cheat meals, with refeeds, you're still tracking and you are still being mindful of how many calories you're taking in and where they are coming from. But refeeds definitely are important as part of your regularly scheduled programming. And there's a few reasons why. So with refeeds, they're really important for helping us sustain a long-term diet. They help us with increased energy levels. So when I have my clients take a refeed, usually this is the criteria that they have met in order to have like earned a refeed. First off, you probably shouldn't partake in a refeed unless you have been diligently tracking your macros, being super consistent, hitting your macros, and everyone is completely different. Okay, so oftentimes my goal is to honor refeeds either weekly or bi-weekly, depending on how consistent you are with tracking your macros and how your body's responding. Whether that's weight loss on the scale, if you start feeling really tired and low energy, you start sleeping less, you're having sleep disturbances. Those are a few key indicators that we probably need to take a mini diet break, get a refeed in, and then after that 1 day break, you just jump right back on to your regularly scheduled programming where your normal daily macros are. So here, let me check my notes here really quickly. But yeah, so once you have consistently been on your macro plan, and you are, say, a week's gone by and you have had a great week and you've lost 1.5 to 2 pounds or more, especially for those who are losing at a quicker rate, that's usually actually an indication that you could use more fuel. We should be expecting and looking at a 1 to 2 pound of weight loss per week. And anything more than that is going to be maybe too much too soon, and can actually, even though it's fun to see those numbers change really fast, it actually long term can really affect our hormones, our metabolism, and our health in general. So even though it kind of sucks, slow and steady is the way to go, especially if you want this to be a lifestyle in the end, reach your goal and be able to maintain your results. So if you feel like, so let's back it up. So are you ready for a refeed? So going over these again, you have stuck to your macros like perfectly. You're within 5 grams of each of your macro values. you've had a good loss for the week, so 1 to 2, even more pounds per week, then definitely go ahead and take a refeed. And again, especially if you are starting to feel tired, more tired, your energy levels are lower. If you are, lifting weights, or you're in the gym and you feel like you're getting weaker in the gym, that's another indication that's probably a good idea to take a little, diet break or refeed day. And again, this should be often. This should be about once a week or once every 2 weeks. And in the long term, it's actually going to allow you to enjoy dieting that much longer, because you get a little mini break, and on those particular refeed days you can enjoy foods that maybe you haven't been able to fit into your deficit or your dieting macros. So it gives you kind of a mental break for that day. It's going to give you more energy. Oftentimes people start sleeping better. And basically what happens when we've been in a deficit, our metabolism starts adjusting. And so when we've been at a lower calorie level for a while, our metabolism actually adjusts to that calorie level. And so in order for our metabolism to stay as high as possible, we want our metabolism as high as possible. Boosting your metabolism with that extra day of higher calories is going to be pretty important in for one, keeping that metabolism high. And it's also going to eliminate stress on the body, because when we diet, it is a stress on our body. And so it kind of allows our body to not feel so deprived. And it's going to lessen stress hormone. And when we are stressed, we produce more cortisol. Cortisol is known as the belly fat hormone. So if you're someone who is extremely stressed and you do feel that you hold, extra weight at your midsection, definitely practice stress management protocols if you can. But definitely taking a regular diet break is going to help eliminate some of those extra stressors on your body. And yeah, like I mentioned, you'll find that you are able to sleep better when you've had a little extra boost in your calories. You're going to feel stronger, your energy levels, your mood is most likely going to be enhanced. There's a lot of benefits to scheduling these regular refeeds into your program. With our brain needs that extra boost in carbs every once in a while. It's going to give you mental clarity, focus, when you've been in a depleted state. One thing that can also start happening once we've been kind of deprived of calories for a while is our leptin levels start to drop. And leptin is a hunger hormone of ours. And leptin suppresses your appetite. Sorry, I have children outside my door here. I am a mom life here. Leptin suppresses your appetite and signals your brain when you are full, so you stop eating. So this hormone, you want more of it. And when we are in a deprived state, or in a deficit, our leptin levels do start to decrease. So this extra day of extra calories will most likely boost those leptin levels. And again, like I said, we want more leptin however we can get that. So again, it's important to get those in. All right, so we talked about why and when, and now here is how we are going to determine what your calories are going to be. Okay, so your fat intake. So when you take a refeed, it's most oftentimes it comes from carbohydrates. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Everyone is different, but for most people, I do subscribe extra carbs, and then we basically are going to keep protein and fats the same. So sometimes it can kind of be hard to not go over your fat, but if you go over a little bit, so be it. But we really want to focus on carbs as being where our extra calories come from. And especially if you are someone who works out regularly like myself. So protein is going to stay the same and fat is going to be the same. So we need to figure out how many extra grams of carbs are we going to be taking in. And what I do for my clients is I find their maintenance calories, and then I find the math. I kind of do the math from there. So how you can find your maintenance calories. Let me get into a screen share really quickly with you. One moment here. Let me try to blow this up. Here we go. I don't know if I'm still on the screen or not. Uh-oh, I've disappeared. So hopefully this works. But basically, your protein calories. Okay, sorry. We're gonna backtrack. I am going to. How do I get out of the screen share? All right, guys. Sorry about this little technical difficulty here. We're gonna just go like that, and I can see myself now, but I don't know, you might be seeing a crazy, maybe if I go like this and make it all, maybe we'll just do this. There we go. Okay, kind of, sort of. Let me take it back for a second. So this is the website that you're gonna go to. I don't have it on this slide, but you're going to go to, so you're going to find your total daily estimated expenditure. That's what your maintenance calories are. So there's a calculator online that you can go to. It's tdeecalculator.net. Okay, so you're going to go to tdeecalculator.net, and I'm going to just do it here really quick on my phone. TDEE, that stands for Total Daily Estimated Expenditure. And we are going to log on here. So what you want to do is you can't really see this, but it's going to ask you for some of your information. I'll figure out mine. I'm 30. It's going to ask you your age, your weight, how much your height. Sorry, I probably could have had this figured out before I jumped on here, but I'm doing it with you. And then it's going to ask for your activity level. So moderate exercise out for me right now. And then if you know your body fat, you can plug that into. So calculate, and basically you're going to look at your TDEE, your calories per day, your maintenance calories. So this, I think, is a little low for me. I probably could have plugged some other things in. Anyway, it says 1941. It's actually probably not that far off right now because my activity level has been a little bit lower. So you're going to take that calories per day, and those are going to be the calories that you take on your refeed day. And that means that when you take this extra day, you're not going to be gaining any fat because you're going to be eating at maintenance for that day. You're not going to be, when we eat more calories than we consume, or excuse me, when we eat more calories than we burn, that's where you start to gain weight. So we're gonna just eat one day, a week or every 2 weeks at maintenance, and that means we're not gonna be losing, or excuse me, we're not gonna be gaining any fat, okay? We're just gonna be eating at maintenance for the day. So now that I have 1941 as my calories, we'll use the example from the other day. When it comes to our protein was at like, oh my gosh, I don't remember what the 130. And then our fat was at 52. So now we need to figure out, because we're going to do 130 protein and we're going to do 52 grams of fat. So whatever your protein and fat is going forward, that's where you're going to stay. You're going to stay there. But from here, we have to figure out how many grams of carbs we're going to have as our carb refeed. So here on this slide, it's going to give you the math. So you're going to, again, find the calories coming from protein. So you're going to do 130 times 4, like it says on top. So 130 times 4. Okay, let me grab my calculator here. So 130 times 4 is 520. And then we're gonna figure out our fat. So it's 52 times 9. So 52. Rut-row. Oh no. Little technical difficulty here. I'm doing this it's live with you guys, okay? So I'm not doing any editing, so whatever happens, you never know what's gonna happen. 52 times 9, because there's 9 calories per gram of fat, that equals 468. So now we're going to take that 1941, so the maintenance calories, and we are going to subtract the calories that came from protein, which was 520, and then subtract the calories that come from fat, which is 468. And that is going to give me 1941 minus 520 minus 468. That leaves me with 953 calories coming from carbohydrates. And so to figure out how many carbohydrates in grams that is, there's 4 grams per, or excuse me, there's 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates. So we're going to take 953 divided by 4. And that gives me 238. So on my refeed day, I'm going to be consuming 238 grams of carbs along with my 130 grams of protein and my 52 grams of fat. So it sounds like a lot of carbohydrates, and for most people it probably is, but it's so beneficial. This is when you can get those extra fun foods that maybe you haven't had enough calories, or excuse me, enough macros to fit in before this. So have this be like a day that you look forward to, really plan for it. You're gonna want to kind of be strategic with this too, because you're going to be consuming more carbohydrates, so it's more energy within your cells, and your glycogen levels are going to be a little bit higher. So to strategically take this refeed, if you are someone who works out, so hopefully you are, you want to do it on a day where you're working out, you have a really good workout. So if you are someone who weight trains and does different body splits, a leg day would be a great day to utilize these extra calories. So do your refeed on a high intensity workout day, and then the next day it's also really beneficial to like follow it up with another good workout. So if you again are weight training, like a back day, because that's another really big muscle group, that is how it would be the most beneficial to utilize that extra glycogen and use that extra fuel and get the most bang for your buck. Now, one thing I do like to forewarn my females especially is, if you are someone who weighs yourself on a regular basis, because I know a lot of us do, I just want to warn you that the next day on the scale, if you jump on the scale, you are probably going to weigh a little bit more, but don't freak out. I mentioned before that we are going to be eating at maintenance. So if you see an increase on the scale, it's not fat. What it's going to be is, if you remember from another video, I mentioned that for every gram of carbohydrates, our body holds 3 grams of water. And so when you have 80 to 100 grams of carbs more than you were consuming the days before, your body's just going to be holding on to a little bit of water. It's not fat. You are not going to be gaining a pound or 2 of fat weight. It's just going to be a little bit of water within your cells. And as soon as a day or 2 goes by, and if you make sure that you get your workouts in and you drink your water and you just jump right back onto your macros, you will see that weight come off really quickly. And then you're going to probably see a nice drop a few days after that. So once you've lost that essential or the initial water weight, you're going to see a nice drop after that as well. One other thing to say, to chime in with, is if you do in fact see a weight loss the day after a refeed, that's actually an indication that we probably need you to be eating more calories on a regular basis. So that could be a sign that you actually need more food, and you're going to see better results by eating more. So this piece of hair is still driving me nuts though. But anyway, so it's really important to kind of like, don't get obsessed with the scale, but it is a learning tool to learn how your body responds to different foods and different macronutrients. And especially if you are trying to, lose weight and shed body fat. So basically, a lot of the things that I'm talking about in this course is geared more so towards those who are on a fat loss journey. You'll have different, macronutrient needs if you are trying to maintain or gain muscle and so forth. So this is kind of geared towards my fat loss clients, which are most people who follow me. That's kind of my peeps, my people. But yeah, so once you have accomplished your refeed, you just get right back on track with your, the next day, you just follow it up with your regular macros, whatever those were before, and you just keep going. And again, you'll probably see a little bit of an increase in scale weight, but it's not fat weight. Rest assured, it'll be a little bit of water weight, but trust the process. In about 2 days, 2 to 3 days, you should have that water weight off. And then from there, you're gonna see a nice dip in the scale most oftentimes. And yeah, with doing this approach, again, it just makes the dieting journey so much more enjoyable because you have, a little diet break planned into your programming. It's going to give you more energy. It's going to keep you feeling strong in the gym. It's going to increase your hormones, make you feel just better, and it's going to help you sustain this for the long term. So let me just make sure that I don't have any other things that I wanted to mention along with this. But yeah, I think that was about it for this video. So I hope you learned something. And on our next video, I will be talking about extra ways that you can boost your results. So you've been following all your macros, you've been implementing everything that we've talked about so far. So my next video is going to be giving you some tips on how you can boost and maximize results even more. So yeah, that'll be on our next video. But thank you so much for joining. I hope you are continuing to learn, and I'm really excited to share all this information with you guys. I will see you on the next video.